Lynne Urquhart has been working at the Medical Council of New Zealand since 1990 and leads the health team. They are the conduit, they are the interface between the council and our profession. And Lynne is going to come and speak to us now to update us on what happens when doctors are referred to the health committee. Thanks, Lynne.
Hopefully I'm wired for sound. Sounds like that, and I need to know what was the right button. Katie, how did you do it? Oh, that little red button there? Thank you. Ena mana, ena reo, ena karanga maha o te wā. Tēnā koutou katoa. Ko makara, toko monga, ko awa ko ahaura toko awa, ko Ngāti Pākehā toko iwi. Noa te whanganui atara, ko ke te huni rata o Aotearoa o e Mahayana. Hei haora minatia o and ko Lynne toko ingoa. So, just introducing myself, I'm Lynne from Medical Council. I'm getting a drink. And sadly, present myself to you as a bureaucrat. And I know most people that don't want to hear anything from bureaucrats. They know they come with rules. And so, sure enough, I will try and get on to the next slide. There we are, some rules. So we've got the Bible that we follow, the Health Practitioners Competence Assurance Act, which you're familiar in various ways. You've got practicing certificates. We're chasing you up about your recertification and those sorts of things. We're asking you to help us lots of times to be on PACs and PCCs and those sorts of things. And the main reason is because our job under this Act is to ensure doctors are competent and fit to practice, but we need to engage with lots of other people to help us with that, like you guys. The Act has some rules. I'm not going to go through these in any detail because I thought if the slides are just there, you can look at them. You can come back to me later at the council office if you have any questions. But essentially, we have got the main mechanisms that are going to assist us when doctors are sick. That means it's mandatory to notify the council if you know about a sick doctor. And actually, it's not only a doctor. I'm not sure if everybody's aware, but that clause in the HPCAA applies to nurses, podiatrists. All of the 20 or 21 registered health professionals have the same obligations towards each other. We've got also the power, once we have some concerns, to order examinations and testing so we can find out what's going on. And if things are absolutely at the bottom end of the continuum, then there's sanctions that can be imposed there. How the Health Committee has evolved over the years is that, in fact, sick people don't actually need to have various sections of the Acts quoted to them and screeds of legislative stuff poked at them. They just need a conversation. They just sort of need to know what's going to happen next. So that we've found that if we just step outside the framework of the legislation and just deal with people on a case-by-case basis, each person is an individual with their own story, their own pickle that they've got into or whatever. And that's the way we've been able to go forward. The Act has a few thresholds for when you need to talk to us about someone. So I've just got those up there. I'm not going to talk to them. I'm just going to flick through them. They're things that you can have a look at if you're placed in a situation where you're thinking, should I tell the medical council or not? What's that going to involve? Is this person going to just have their career ended if the medical council find out? Tell you no. mostly never. But you'll know when local interventions fail that you need some other leverage, so we'll be able to help with that. So these are just the slides that for you to look at later. And always remind you when you're never quite sure about things, talk to colleagues, and actually your medical legal indemnity insurers are really good sources of support and information. So they're people that you can talk to too. So what you're probably a bit more interested in is what are the sort of problems that the Health Committee get asked to assist with. Well, there's some here. Mostly it is the psychiatric disorders, and the majority of cases would be the significant mood disorders. There's also on that psychiatry side some alcohol and drug use that is an issue from time to time. And the other psychiatric conditions, anxiety, features quite a lot when people start to get burnout and lose confidence and things. And people who get themselves in the most incredible professional and, personal crises. You just can't believe it. So there's no dinner time talks about those, I have to say. So can't spread that word. And there's the normal medical disorders that you would expect in any population that the Health Committee might be involved with. So the main role for the Health Committee when concerns get raised with it is really, what's the nature of this problem? Work through some process to find out exactly what's going on. Move from there to look at what kind of intervention might be required by the Health Committee. Maybe none, maybe the treatment team are actually doing a good job and everything's ticking along nicely, but people just didn't have information that things are going well. And just seem to have bunged one back. And that involves some difficult issues, and the main issue is privacy, because we know that everyone that comes into touch with the Medical Council is so 100% concerned about their privacy. They're not going to give their name in a conversation till they've had a guarantee of privacy. That's not something that's going to be 100% guaranteed, because we might need collateral information from workplaces, for example. We might, if someone's just got a complete bubble around themselves and nobody knows what's going on, we don't know if people around them are seeing some problems or they're managing to hold it together at work and doing an okay job or what. So that's going to be something we're going to want to talk to, and we can't manage risks from some tower that's down in Wellington. Those risk sharing needs to happen in some situations with employers, particularly if people have got alcohol problems and those sorts of things. We need some on the in the work place help with that. So we look at what the diagnosis is, what treatment the person's having. It's quite a holistic process, really, and then we might get some testing done. Someone's got some obvious cognitive problems, we might just go ahead and get that sorted out. We might be wanting to look at hair, bloods and those sorts of things, because my experience over 20 years is when doctors come to the Health Committee, you get information from them in the drip feed. They've had a minor depressive illness, and it turns out they've been an inpatient for 3 months. It's not the first time. It's a picture emerges. You get the idea from some of your patients. They might only give you a little bit of information. And then we're deciding whether we'll rely on what the treatment team is saying, what information we're getting from the workplace. We'll get an independent assessment done. Some of you amazing people out there have helped us with independent assessments, and some of you are responsible for keeping us up to date with some treatment information as well, so thank you. We really need that. The number one sort of thing for a good prognosis with the Health Committee is if doctors have a decent level of insight, and actually if they're being open with colleagues around them, so people are able to know that there's some support needed if they don't turn up to work, touch base with them and those sorts of things. So once we've decided what sort of risks might need managing, we might get this assessment. I'm not going to go through these slides, but this is a fairly tough thing for someone to have. It's quite invasive. It's full scale if you're having a psychiatric assessment, and there would be some broad collateral history gathering with that, and any other assessments that might pop up in that as being necessary to get the full picture. So again, privacy. We're not going to be doing anything or talking to anybody without people's consent and understanding why we might be wanting to do that. And that doesn't always come. So sometimes we're in a difficult situation where people are wanting to talk to us about something, but we have the same obligations under the Privacy Act as everybody else. And so it's very difficult, but we try and bypass that so that we can be sensible about getting everything moving forward. Assessment reports. Sometimes that assessment process is quite therapeutic insofar as it's the first time someone's had some look at everything that's got to this point. You've got something in black and white, your story of where you're at and where you maybe need to think about going forward. So there'll be recommendations in there for treatment and those sorts of things. Then if the health committee wants to have an ongoing role with you, that'd be something that we would be talking to you about. There'd be a lot of discussions all the way through this process. We'd be talking to people involved in the treatment as well, so that everybody who's involved with that doctor is on the same page. It's not this compartment and that compartment. Sometimes you might have 2 or 3 people involved in treatment, but none of them are allowed to talk to each other, so nobody knows what's going on, and of course progress doesn't get made. So we have this thing called an agreement, and one of the key things about this agreement is it names all the people who are going to be party to it, so everybody starts to get on the same page, and then things hopefully start to move forward. There'll be some external things, but I'm not going to talk to these in any detail either, because you can just have a quick squiz at those on the slides that have been available. Go back. Oops. And I'm happy, if people have got any questions, to come and see me later. Assessment processes. I think one of the things that comes up is that the old good medicine tastes bad, and so the health committee is sometimes thought of as avoid that as much as you can. And in fact, one assessor told the doctor that he was working with, who was bemoaning the fact that medical council was poking around in his life as being like a shit sandwich, and you just got to get on and eat it. And for some of those people, if they get on and eat it, it gets it out of the way. But then others, which is quite surprising and insightful, I suppose, when it comes to there's no need for the health committee to be involved. No, I've got to stay involved with the health committee. So for some people, just that little bit of external oversight, it might be providing comfort for them, more likely their partner actually, because things might be getting sorted out and less chaotic at home and everything's going along smoothly. So some doctors actually asked to stay with the health committee to the end of their practicing lives, and the others just eat the sandwich and get on, and others won't have anything to do with it, so they're not working. So that's pretty much it. More? No, that's it. So, Norea, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa.